Hello, welcome to Jason Cavness Experience. I'm your host, Jason Cavness. I'm also CEO founder of Cavness HR. At Cavness HR, we deliver HR to companies for 49 or fewer people. The Jason Cavness Experience is also brought to you by Breeze Docs. Breeze Docs helps small, medium-sized company go through the complicated RFP process from the government. Click on the QR code on the right or left hand of the screen to get more information. Our guest today for the second time is Brandon Durrell. Thanks for being here today, Brandon.
Yeah, good to be here.
So, we got a lot to talk about, a lot to catch up on.
Mm-hmm.
So, first thing, what is SUPING?
Stand-up paddleboarding.
Okay.
Yeah, so like kayaking, but you're standing up.
So, how long have you been doing that?
I used to love kayaking, and then I kind of just, it's like a way to kind of get a good core workout, a good full body workout, and then still be out on the water. So, probably a decade, 12 years, I've had a paddleboard and kind of get out. And I live in Gig Harbor. So.
It's good for a mic just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, yeah. I always heard that when you first begin paddleboarding, it pretty much like destroys your calves.
Yeah, calves and kind of core muscles get activated.
Okay.
Heavily.
And you're also big into powerlifting too, right?
Yeah, I like to, I was an athlete growing up, and then, so I like to stay fit whenever I have time.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like, for me, the quickest hitting way to keep the body fit and kind of find balance in that way.
So what's the difference between powerlifting and regular lifting? Is powerlifting is like a lot more weight, less reps, or?
Yeah, like if you go to a gym, there's machines and there's dumbbells and there's all sorts of things you can do. Powerlifting is more barbells, like deadlift, bench press, like a back squat, like kind of heavy weights and bigger lifts, and there is working a lot of muscle groups at the same time, as opposed to really isolated like a bicep curl or something, which those are, you work those things in and around it, but doing the big lifts.
So how does someone know when it's time to go from like regular weightlifting to powerlifting?
It depends on your goals. So powerlifting is really good for building kind of like whole body strength, and I think it's good for, the way I see it is it's a good thing for longevity if you do it right and you use good form and things like that. There's a lot of kind of like vanity workout you can do, right, where you're working out your biceps and your triceps and that, but later in life, the things that you're going to care about are like, your core and your hips and really your big muscles. And if you can maintain those as you're younger, then as you get older, I think you're in a better position to do the things you want to do later into life. And I mean, there's research in every direction, but everything that I've seen is like powerlifting and lifting heavy weights is very helpful as long as you don't hurt yourself doing it, right? You need to do it properly.
So you're powerlifting, so you like, the goal would be like gain more weight, gain like inches of muscle in your body, or is the goal just personal for each person?
Yeah, I would say some people have the goal of lifting as much weight as they can. I don't necessarily do that. I like to mix powerlifting and kind of functional training. So functional training meaning like more everyday movements, and I mix in body weight type of stuff. And so a lot of jumps, a lot of kind of like some cardio mixed into it. So you're getting your heart rate up, and but yet, it's different for every person. But for me, I like to lift heavy weights, which is different for everybody. But deadlift 200 to 400 pounds or so, and just maintaining somewhere in.
Is it like some kind of minimum stand? Like in order to become considered a powerlifter, you have to be able to bench like 300 pounds or 400 pounds. Like, what's the definition, if there is one?
There's not a definition. I think like it's you can look out and see all sorts of people talking about like, if you can bench more than 225 pounds, and that's just signified by two of the big plates on either side, right? Like if you can do more than that, it's good, and if you can't do that, it's kind of like the thing to strive for. That's not very much weight, right? Like power lifters, 3 and 4 plates, but for me, I used to be able to do a lot more, and right now I kind of like just try and maintain, at or above there, and like with deadlift, maybe above 315 pounds. I don't know. There's no standard.
And you like do like a workout every day?
No, I wish I did. I aspire to that, but for me, running a company, having young kids, having all these other areas of life, for me it does fall off. But I like to try and get exercise, 4 days a week or so if I can. That's kind of 5 days being ideal. 4 is what I shoot for, and I've tried to make it as easy as possible to get those workouts. So like getting things close to where I'm working, so that if I get a break, I go knock out a half an hour workout. That's kind of like, I don't always do it, but having it available means I'll do it more often than.
And so how does someone learn the right form? Because we were both in gyms. You said, like, dude, how are you not going to break your back doing this? Like, what's going on here? Like,
yeah, I mean, the best way to do it is to have somebody watch you that knows what they're doing, and just make sure. Like, if you go do things on your own and never look at it or never have anybody look at it, you're not going to know either way, right? Especially with deadlift and squats, there is a right way of doing it, and the wrong way of doing it can hurt you. And so one way is recording yourself, right? Which looks kind of cheesy with a little tripod in the gym, but it is important. And I think you don't realize what you look like until you kind of step back when you're not lifting and watch, and you can be like, wow, I'm really bending my back when I'm doing that squat, and that's not good. So yeah, recording yourself would be one thing, and then if you can, show the recording to like a athletic focused personal trainer and be like, hey, what does this look like to you? Even if you have to pay him $50 to give you an answer, it might be a good idea.
And you ever enter any powerlifting competitions?
No, I haven't.
No. Ever thought about it?
When I was younger and I started to lift more weight, like I had some friends that did that, but I don't know, like I've been on this, I've always kind of been more functionally fit. Like I've always been able to like do a lot of pull-ups and like run fast and far and those things. And also I'm strong, but like, the balance of those two things, like I've never been like as strong as like professional powerlifters. Like I have a friend that can deadlift like 600-700 pounds. I've never been that, right? Like, and I'm okay with that too.
Yeah. So a lot of people, they do weights, or they do cycling, or do running, but you do all three. How's that you like combine all three? Most people just can only do one thing.
Yeah, I think it's kind of personal goals. Like if I wanted to be really good at running, and I would probably not do as much of the other things, but for me, it keeps it fresh, and it's each one of those things is working your body in a different way, and it is a good balance. And so biking and running, both good cardio, but working different muscle groups, and also you can go do different things. Like you can go farther into different places on a bike than you can on a run. And then getting out on the water on a paddleboard, you're working different muscle groups, and also it's just fun to be on the water, right? So like, and I'm doing a hike tomorrow, getting out, I'm doing mailbox speak tomorrow with a friend. And so like in the summer in Seattle, when you can do things like that, I think it's, if you can get a good workout and be in one of the most beautiful places, like, yeah, you should do that.
Yeah. So what's your definition of being fit?
Well, I think there's plenty of health metrics around it that you can, I've listened to the book, Outlive by Peter Attia, and that's kind of a longevity focused book, and it's like, hey, here's the specific things like that you can measure in your body that tell you if you're healthy or not. So like I can't read those off, but those exist. But I think for me, I kind of it's a personal feeling I have, and it's not necessarily how my body looks, but it's how I feel when I'm out and moving around. And I like to be able to do the things that I want to do with relative ease. So if I go out and I go on a run and I'm getting tired quickly, I know, right? If you're not kind of at the standard that you want to maintain. And to me, that's not peak athletic form, but it is like, early stage athletic form, right? I want to be able to do things easily, because I know as I get older, just that baseline is so much harder to maintain. And so keep the baseline higher when you're younger, and then when you're older, you'll still be able to do the thing at least, even if you can't be at the top of.
And how does your eating habits play in this? So you have a pretty good diet, or?
Yeah, I do. I try not to eat too much. Like I try not to overeat, and then I try to keep kind of small, healthy. I don't want to call them snacks. I don't really snack, but like high protein meals, and I don't eat a lot of like junk food. I try to not eat too much fast food or anything like that. Just whole foods as much as I can. And yeah, I mean, when you are not eating healthy, all of those other activities are just harder. And so again, it's something that you, like for me, I can feel when I'm out of sync with my diet.
So speaking of eating and drinking healthy, do you want some bourbon or are you good?
You normally drink
Yeah,
on the show?
yeah. It's totally up to you.
I'll have one for
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Which one do you want?
Let's see. Do you have a favorite? I like Basil Hayden.
We can do that. I mean, whichever you want to do.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.